The station hung at the edge of the Zorad Nebula, like a jewel suspended in darkness, its metal hull glinting faintly under the distant starlight. I'd been called here not as an ambassador or a soldier, but as a mechanic, the human who could fix things no one else dared to touch. And today, that meant the alienqueen's communication array. They said she rarely requested human help. Her empire spanned 12 star systems, her intelligence network extending to the far edges of known space. Yet here I was, floating in zero-gravity corridors, clutching my toolkit as I approached the palace's outer chamber. The radio had gone silent 2 days ago, and in the vacuum of interstellar politics, silence was dangerous. Without it, the Queen could not reach her fleets, her advisors, or even her daughter, Princess Vaila. The Queen's emissaries had informed me in a terse, almost clipped tone. "Fix it, human. You have one cycle." I had never met her, only glimpsed her holographic image projected across the docking bay during the briefing. Tall, iridescent, and impossibly elegant, the alien queen exuded authority in a way humans could barely comprehend. My job was simple: repair the radio and leave. Or so I thought. The arrival. The corridors of the palace were alive with a hum of energy. Bioluminescent vines crawled along the walls, pulsing in sync with the station's power core. My boots made soft clinks against the polished floors as I walked toward the communications chamber. Every corridor seemed designed to remind me that I was a visitor, a fragile human in a realm not meant for me. Finally, I reached the chamber. The door hissed open at my presence, revealing the radio, a sprawling lattice of crystalline circuits, floating microprocessors, and energy conduits that shimmered with blue light. Even in disrepair, it was beautiful. I took a deep breath, opened my toolkit, and began. Hours passed. I traced fault lines in the energy conduits, recalibrated the signal modulators, and replaced circuits with components I had smuggled from my ship's inventory. Sweat beaded on my forehead, though in zero gravity it would have floated off had it not been for the humidity fields. Finally, the last circuit clicked into place. I activated the radio. The crystalline arrays pulsed, resonating with a deep hum that filled the chamber. A holographic projection flickered above the console. It was the Queen. "Human," she said, her voice like a symphony of tones, alien yet clear. "You have done well." I exhaled. It was just a few adjustments. Nothing. The door behind me hissed shut. I froze. The Queen's hand lifted slightly, and her eyes, glimmering like twin moons, held me in place. "Come closer," she commanded. Summoned in. It was not an invitation. It was an order. I stepped forward, every instinct screaming that this was beyond any human protocol, beyond any interstellar etiquette I had been trained in. Yet I moved. The Queen's presence was magnetic, not in a human sense of attraction, but in an authority that bent the room around her will. "Do you understand the significance of what you had just repaired?" she asked. Yes. Your communication network. You can contact your fleet now." Her expression softened, not warmth exactly, but something close to approval. "This network holds secrets," she said. "Secrets that have endangered my people for cycles beyond counting. You've given me access again, and in doing so, you've made yourself interesting to me." I swallowed. Interesting? To an alien monarch who could obliterate a human with a thought? I nodded cautiously. The Queen stepped closer, her movement graceful, almost liquid. "You will accompany me," she said. There are messages I need you to understand, tasks you must perform, not as a servant human, but as a participant in matters that stretch beyond your imagination. Before I could ask what that meant, a tendril of energy extended from her hand, scanning me from head to toe. My heart raced, not just from fear, but from an odd sense of destiny, as if I were being waved for a role in a story far larger than my simple human life. Learning the signals. The next cycle, an entire rotation of the station, equivalent to 30 Earth hours, was a blur. I was moved to a chamber lined with translucent panels, each displaying the pulse of the universe in fractal waves. The Queen instructed me on reading alien transmissions, frequency modulations that carried emotions, tactical signals, and memories embedded in light. It was unlike anything I had ever learned. On Earth, radio waves were simple. Signals sent, signals received. Here, communication was layered with intention, context, and a form of living code that reacted to the listener. I struggled, but she was patient. Not human patient, where tolerance is thin, but alien patient, with infinite precision. By the end of the cycle, I could decode fragments of messages from her fleet, understand the warnings from distant planets, and even anticipate signals meant to mislead intruders. I was learning not just to repair technology, but to speak the language of her empire. The threat revealed. Then came the message I could never have expected. The Queen summoned me to the central chamber, the heart of the palace. Outside, the nebula roared with electric storms, casting violet light across the crystalline walls. She activated a holomap, and the stars rearranged into a shape I would remember for the rest of my life. A fleet of ships moving with lethal precision toward her empire. They have discovered the vulnerability, she said, her tone low, almost a growl. The Syndicate of Nerith has tracked me. They will strike within one cycle. You repaired the radio in time. Human, but you will need to help me defend my people. I blinked. I'm just a mechanic. I fix radios. That's all. Her eyes glimmered. Today, that makes you more than a mechanic. You are an instrument of survival. The next hours were chaotic. The station's defenses powered up under my hands. I rewired energy shields, recalibrated laser turrets, and integrated alien weaponry with human technical knowledge. The Queen watched, her gaze steady, occasionally offering guidance or correction. By the time the Syndicate's fleet appeared on sensors, I was no longer just a mechanic. I was part of the command chain. The battle, space combat against the Syndicate, was unlike any human war I had seen in simulations. Ships darted like living predators, firing energy that sliced through the void. The Queen directed her fleet with a precision that made human admirals look clumsy. And I, trembling in the control chamber, fed real-time calculations into the shields and weapons. We lost ships, too many, but the Queen's strategic genius, combined with my technical improvisations, turned the tide. One vessel, a monstrous dreadnought, aimed directly at the palace. I recalibrated its trajectory using the radio's subspace link, essentially forcing it to crash into the Syndicate fleet. The battle ended with silence. Debris floated in the nebula, a graveyard of metal and fire. I sank into a chair, exhausted. The Queen approached, her expression unreadable. You have performed beyond expectation, she said. You have not only repaired my radio, but helped save my empire. I nodded, still catching my breath. I didn't know I could do this. Most humans do not, she replied. That is why you are valuable. The summoning. Then came the moment I had feared and anticipated in equal measure. She extended her hand. You will remain here, she said, not as a servant, not as a prisoner, but as an ally. You will learn, grow, and perhaps understand us better than many of my own subjects. The word ally felt strange, almost intimate. She did not order me to stay, yet I could not imagine returning to Earth. This place, dangerous and alien, had become my life. Over the cycles that followed, I learned more than I ever thought possible about the Queen, her daughter, and the vast empire spanning the stars. I became her trusted human, a bridge between species, a symbol of unexpected unity. And sometimes, in the quiet moments when the nebula's light danced across a chamber, I wondered, had I fixed a radio, or had I opened a door to a destiny far beyond my imagination? Whatever it was, the door had been shut behind me. There was no turning back. Epilogue. Months later, I stood on the observation deck of the palace. The repaired radio now transmitted across 12 systems without error. The Queen's daughter, Princess Vaila, approached and spoke in her melodic, alien tongue. I understood, of course. The radio had taught me not just to fix machines, but to speak across worlds. You have done well, human, Vaila said. Her tone echoed the approval I had heard from her mother. The stars themselves might bend for you someday. I smiled faintly. I only fixed the radio. She laughed, a sound like crystal chimes in a solar wind. And yet you changed everything. As I looked out into the endless expanse of the nebula, I realized she was right. A single repaired radio had shifted the balance of an empire, saved lives, and altered my destiny forever. And the Queen? She watched silently from the shadows, the weight of her approval more powerful than any command. I was no longer just human. Here, I had become something new, a thread woven into the fate of the stars.